They try to erase the signal. They pulled the plug, demonetized, censored, shadow banned. That's what they did to us. But the truth, my friend, will always find the frequency. I call this Operation Airwave Liberation because I'm not just back, I'm broadcasting from ruined. But this time, the airwaves is mine. And this time, it's uncensored. I watched them strip everything that we built. No warning, no explanation, silence, just taking everything away. 300 plus videos, deleted, all gone. And if you think this is about community guidelines, you've not been paying attention. This is a war. This is a digital gulag dressed in a terms of service type of way. They want us gone because we're saying things that they don't like. Maybe we're asking questions because we're curious, they don't like the questions we're asking. Or maybe we refuse to play nice in this echo chamber that we're in. They first hit me with the algorithm, the video is not getting enough views. Then they hit me with the monetization, well, no money for you. But guess what? They forgot to hit my will. They thought that'll be enough, it's gonna cave and it's gonna run away. But guess what I did? I rebuilt, I rewired, I learned the game behind the curtains and see how they operate. I'm not just back. We're launching Operation Airwave Liberation. No filters, no masters, just signals. The signal they tried to block, but this time is very strong. The wind can't even penetrate through this. This, my friend, isn't just about me. It's about all of us. Every single voice that's been cancelled, clipped and used in a wrong way by the media. From now on moving forward, I'm not just creating content anymore. I'm sorry. I'm building a resistance. On camera, off grid and above the algorithm. And if you are watching this, you are the resistance. This channel isn't just a platform. This is a broadcast tower for the truth. I'm glad I'm back. Ladies and gentlemen, patriots, truth seekers, digital warriors, welcome back to the show. As you already know, this is not a regular broadcast. This is the Baraka Show. Something is taking place in Manchester right now. Before I start showing you what's taking place, communists, Marxists, socialists, however way you want to call them, these guys with new ideas, with new way of living. It's not a new idea, by the way, but with new way of living. They think their way is way better than capitalism and the conservative value that we have. And they're out there trying to defend Venezuela, trying to defend Nicolas Maduro and his wife, Selena Flores. Man, before I show you the video, make sure you're gonna laugh a lot tonight. But they are serious, so we should approach them with a lot of seriousness. So yeah, by the way, happy new year, guys. So let's go and watch what's taking place in Manchester right now.
This is why we must defend Venezuela. This is blatant.
Yeah, we should join the party.
19th century colonialism from the US and advocate the defeat of the United States Armed Forces. Venezuela has every right to defend it against the US attacks.
Yeah, we should join the party.
Keir Starmer, former human rights lawyer, has expressed support for a peaceful transition of power in Venezuela. But there is nothing peaceful about bombs over the capital city and 80 civilians murdered. It is clear that the UK plans to support the robber policy of the US, and it will not stand up for the legitimate national rights of the Venezuelan people. The only way that we can stop this blatant aggression is by building a worldwide mass movement against war and against US imperialism. We must call for a joint mobilization of all working class organizations and civil society groups, trade unions and all anti-imperialist forces. We must stand together in protest in front of the US Embassy for solidarity strikes and blockades of US supplies, and for the closure of all US military bases in the UK. We must also call on our so-called Labour leaders to stand up and denounce this aggression from the UK's main ally. Solidarity with Venezuela, down with US imperialism, no to US intervention, for an international working class revolt against US capitalism. Thank you.
Thanks, David. So I just back the stuck the War Committee hat on now, taking over from Ross for a little bit for the rest of the speeches. Got 3 more speeches lined up for you.
3 more speeches? 3 more goddamn speeches backing up communists. Really? Who did? Oh my god, amazing. What a legend. What a legend.
Somebody from the Trades Council in Wigan, Dave, I think, yeah.
Thank you very much. Just surprised that I'm going to speak, but here we go. Right, the thing I'd say about this really is it's brutal, naked, imperialist aggression on behalf of the American state. But what's interesting is we've been here before, haven't we? We've been here many times with the US and meddling in South America. Actually, meddling is probably a word that's not very accurate.
Dave from Wigan needs to speak up a bit. It's a bit quiet.
Violence, and economic
I don't know, but it sounded like it was Dave from Wigan.
I mean, we start back at Guatemala in the 1950s, and we go to the 1970s with Chile, and El Salvador, and Nicaragua, and all these countries that have been out whose American states tried to smash their governments, overthrow their governments. And here we are again with the current things happening. And what I want to say is that one of the things is that what we can learn from Venezuela is that actually Hugo Chavez, who was the previous president before the current president, he was twice attempted to overthrow by the American state. And what happened was actually the workers came to his rescue on 2 occasions. And I think that we should look at that, we should say to ourselves, that really is the key. Because
You can't even hear him. He's not even talking loud enough. I'm zooming in on him for you and you still can't hear a word he's saying. It sounds like they all smoke 40 long a day. Dave from Wigan Borough. Do you know what I mean? We say it's Ponytail's teaming cousin is what we call that one.
So as the trades represents the trades council, for me it represents workers in Wigan or
Is that right? So, when they sold the communist newspapers, they take card as well. He said, I take card too.
You see these guys, yeah, they're selling these magazines. Hold on, guys, let me come in real quick. You see they're selling this magazine. They sold me this magazine for £5, folks. Hey, they talk about capitalism, but they're selling magazine for £5, folks. You can get it in like £1 in the store, man. These guys are actually real capitalists. They're selling magazine for £5. They sold me that one for real. I wanted to actually know what these guys. Do I still have it? No, probably not.
Let me take you
run away.
Come with me while I bring you into the Communist Party. Say Venezuelan Palestine occupation is a crime. That's what they're saying.
Not by me. Okay, great. So our next speaker is from an organisation that is representing a group of people who know a lot about how imperialism is out to destroy the country's resources and democracy across the global south. And that is a representative of a Filipino organisation called Anakbaya. And their name is Luke, and please give them a big round of applause. Thank you.
So, Anakbaya UK, our chapter here in Manchester, stands strongly in solidarity with the people of Venezuela and the heart of empire, echoing the rallying call for unyielding commitment to international militant solidarity for Venezuela and its people, for the liberation of its people, condemning the American empire. Here we are yet again, as we will be at some point very soon again also, reacting in horror at the eternal devil that is the United States of America, not forgetting its many powerful allies, such as Britain.
What?
We woke up to the news that the USA had bombed Caracas, soldiers deployed on the ground to take control of parts of the city and force people out of their homes. The amount of people murdered has been 80 and it's set to rise. Bodies fallen, and for what? For US interests. You see online that Venezuelan diaspora in America are celebrating the capture of President Nicolas Maduro and First Lady Sila Flores, saying the corruption in our country has now ended, now that the USA is there to run things. But we, as Anakbayan, as Filipino diaspora, for national democratic revolution in the Philippines, we say that whilst diaspora, you may have feelings about your home country's leaders, but this is not acting in isolation to the global system of terror and exploitation that is US imperialism. We see how the Venezuela diaspora is reacting similar to how Filipino diaspora acts. As diaspora socialist youth, we know not to be distracted by Western lies and cover-ups, the lies of US imperialism. As Filipinos, we are no stranger to US imperialism. As the Spanish colonialism of the 1800s, the US snatched our independence to enforce subservience to its capitalist system through colonialism. US imperialism is the beast that wanders our nations and bodies, scheming and plotting to strike through bureaucratic deals with politicians to obtain their gains, or enforce acts of brutality outright, such as we see in Venezuela ongoing, such as the bombing of the countryside of the Philippines, murdering farmers and their families. And what we see and will continue to see in Venezuela is replicated and perfected in the world over colonialist terrors. The Western Empire after our land and resources, yet again, as people of oppressed nations, we all know this too well. They attack the global south on two fronts: US sanctions, political isolation, to bring a country to its knees economically, and are forced to ask for Western loans that come with conditions such as from the IMF and the World Bank, mainly to open their market to the US and have its financial system revolve around America and its needs through capitalism, and the offshore of our resources solely to be imported outside. And once that attack depletes in rewards of imperial plunder, once it exceeds its initial goals, the US either at itself or financing reactionary movements and groups to immediately destabilize a country. This intervention being justified in Western media in a bid to dehumanize oppressed peoples. From the CNN in America to the BBC here, Islamophobia is the main empowerment of racist stereotypes, and now we see that same deployment, same rhetoric deployed for Venezuela. They claim the US is here to save Venezuela from drug trafficking into the US, narco-terrorism, or dictatorship. Lie after lie after lie! Shame!
What's she screaming?
US motive. seeks to covet Venezuela's oil through violently overhauling the country's leadership and seeks to eradicate the people's sovereignty. The world over, this campaign of terror has happened and will continue to happen for decades. Different countries and resources, same goal in mind. Gold, oil, cobalt, silver, palm oil, food, land, and our bodies to labour in abusive working conditions for these resources, such as the arming and the financing of the Zionist regime's genocide in Palestine, Western provocation against China in Asia Pacific, Indonesia 1960s, Vietnam 1970s, Iraq 2003, the Philippines 1902, and here on after. South America has experienced violent regime changes.
This is the last message.
Standing for agrarian reforms and freedom, land sovereignty, liberation of the people from imperialism. They have been assassinated or disappeared by the USA. 41 regime changes, 41. Anak Bayan pledges strong solidarity with the people of Venezuela, diaspora in the country, against US imperialism. All these historical violent interjections of the USA still affect us today through wide-scale corruption and the financing of militarization in our regions. We must not let these imperialist criminals get away with their campaign of terror. We must guide the frustration of our people and channel this
For Estarma, you know the by-elections are coming up in May. We are waiting for you in the electoral ballot. We are absolutely waiting for you to show you what we do. We do it in Hackney and we do it all over the country. But this is your chance to reverse your support for the North America and for Trump's crimes. This is your opportunity to show yourself as the international lawyer that you claim to be and absolutely defend international human rights. This is your chance to say no to the illegal invasion of Venezuela and the kidnapping of the democratically elected president of a sovereign country, Venezuela. Hayaya Venezuela! Hayaya Latin America! We will never be your slaves! We will never be your colony! Hayaya!
This is taking place right now as we speak.
For showing your solidarity. I'm here to show Green Party solidarity on this US attack on Venezuela, and the abduction of its leader is a crime in international law. Trump, a man who claims to be ending wars, is escalating one in pursuit of oil and imperial control. The playbook is certainly familiar and deadly to global peace and justice. This action must be condemned by the UK. Starmer and his ministers have struggled to call it out and condemn it because they wait for their lines from the US. We've seen Spain, the only country in Europe with some semblance of a spine, standing up to the US. We must not be the US lackey. We must not cover behind the special relationship, and we must condemn this violent action and any further action threatened in Mexico, Cuba, Greenland and Colombia. Time and time again we've seen the war on drugs used as an excuse for territorial violence, used as a cover to extract resources from indigenous communities. This is not and never has been about drugs. For 50 years we've seen a failed war on drugs that has led to more...
Alright folks, you see, these guys are protesting here in the UK, claiming that Venezuelans need help. Meanwhile, in Venezuela, watch this. This is coming to you live from right now, from Venezuela. That is Venezuelan right now. They are celebrating, they are cheering, they are dancing. Look at this. This is Venezuelan right now. It's coming through live. This is live right now in Caracas. This is the town from Venezuela. They are celebrating, they are chanting, they are singing. They are singing. But meanwhile, in the UK, this is the UK today where these guys are taking it to the street. I don't know what the fuck is going on here, bro.
Complicity. Now we know that Latin Americans have been at the forefront of standing with Palestine against Israel in their crimes of genocide and apartheid. So our next speaker is here from the Palestine Solidarity Campaign. It's the Deputy Director, Simon Foster.
Thank you to the Venezuela Solidarity Campaign for inviting me here to speak tonight. We come with solidarity from the Palestine movement because of our shared struggles against colonialism, imperialism, and for national sovereignty. Over the past 27 months, the Palestinian people have been facing their darkest hour. Death, destruction, displacement, starvation. All of the signs that clearly constitute, to all those willing to see, a genocide. In response to this genocide, millions have joined us on the streets of Britain, and many millions of more have taken action across the world in the struggle for a free Palestine. Nowhere more so than our comrades in Venezuela, where tens of thousands have regularly taken to the streets in Caracas, and the government has supported the cases against Israel at the ICC and ICJ. Because internationalism has long been a feature of both the Palestinian and the Venezuelan struggles. Both nations know how it feels to be neighbour to an imperialist bully that has ambitions for your homeland. The late-night bombings, illegal invasions, cutting off of communication networks and kidnapping of political leaders that we saw over the weekend in Venezuela are all crimes that the Palestinian people know all too well. But both nations also know what it means to resist. Venezuelans and Palestinians are proud and principled peoples, willing to stand up tall against their oppressors and go to any length to defend their homelands. In Palestine they call it samud, which means steadfastness, perseverance. After 77 years of occupation, apartheid and genocide, the Palestinian people have never given up their samud. In Venezuela, inspired by the heroic struggles in Cuba and Chile, they proclaim, "Venceremos, we will overcome." Despite decades of imperialist aggression, economic terrorism and now invasion, the Venezuelan people have never given up in their struggle to overcome. Samud and venceremos, different words, different continents, but the same struggle. Sadly, what connects Palestine and Venezuela most of all at this horrific time is that both countries are facing down imperialist claims on their land and a government in this country that, far from condemning these outrageous breaches of international law, instead continues to aid and abet them. It's unfortunately no surprise to us in the Palestine movement that the same Prime Minister who's continued to arm Israel's genocide in Gaza for the last 2 years will not condemn the bombing of a sovereign nation and the kidnapping of its president. By allowing international law to be breached so flagrantly by Israel for the last 2 years, Keir Starmer has opened the floodgates for more of these crimes to be inflicted on people from across the world who dare to challenge the aims of US empire. When the coward Keir Starmer finally found the words to comment on this outrageous attack, he said,
The UK has long supported a transition of power in Venezuela. We regard Maduro as an illegitimate president, and we shed no tears about the end of his regime. So my question to you, to the thousands of you gathered here today and the many millions more of you supporting from home, I ask you this. Do you support a transition of power in this country away from a cowardly Prime Minister willing to rip up international law in order to advance his career? And will you shed a single tear on the day in the not-so-distant future when his disastrous regime comes to an end? No! So does Keir Starmer speak for you? No! Then I urge you to continue campaigning, keep protesting, keep telling the war criminal hauled up in there what you really think about him. Support the Venezuelan people's struggle against the invaders. Support the struggle for a free Palestine from the river to the sea. Solidarity from the Palestine Solidarity Campaign.
From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Now we know this struggle is an international one, so our next speaker has joined us from La France Insoumise. It's Lan from the main left French party.
Hello, how are we doing? My friends, we are gathered here because once again war is spreading, and once again we are told to stay silent. Today it is Venezuela. Tomorrow, who knows? A government overthrown, its people subdued, its country resource seized by force. The old empire returns, flying the same old flag of freedom to hide the same old lust for oil. The United States There is no such thing as good invasion. There is no such thing as a benevolent empire. An invasion is an invasion, always and everywhere. And yet, in Europe, our government remains silent, submissive, and the so-called foreign policies are written in Washington instead of in London, Paris, and Brussels. Shame on them! Shame! Their complicity, their cowardice, make them accomplices in the written of the law of the strongest. My friends, let us be clear about one thing. When the law of the jungle replaces international law, no one is safe. No one. Already in Ukraine, in Gaza, in the Democratic Republic of Congo, the same logic is at work. One that justifies massacre in the name of security. How many more borders must burn before we say enough is enough? Let us remind ourselves this. There are 126 nations today with border conflicts, 55 of which are already at war. It means that if the world continues on this path, peace itself will become an exception, a mere moment between two invasions. This is why we must defend tooth and nails the ideas that stand between peace and barbarism. Those are the unconditional compliance with international law, the sovereignty of nations, the people's right to decide for themselves, and the absolute non-alignment of our own countries in the face of US imperialism. This is why France Insoumise demands the immediate release of Nicolas Maduro and his wife, who are currently held hostages of an imperial power that pretends it can kidnap heads of states as if they were criminals. Furthermore, we demand that our governments here in Britain, but also in France and in Europe, have the courage to say it out loud. This aggression must stop. And let no one tell us that these are not our problems. Every time people are subjugated, it concerns all of humanity. No one is free until Venezuela is free. Every time a government falls under foreign boots, the international order itself cracks. Do not believe that peace will survive if we remain spectators. If you want peace, do not prepare for war. Prepare for peace. Stand up for law, for freedom, and for the dignity of all nations. Down with the empire, down with the war. Long live the people, long live peace, and long live the sovereignty of all nations. Thank you. Yes, sorry.
Okay, we're going to tell him exactly what we think again, and this time let's make it even louder. Stop bombing Venezuela! 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 No more coups, no more wars! Venezuela isn't yours! No more coups, no more wars! Venezuela isn't yours! No more coups, no more wars! Venezuela isn't yours! No more coups, no more wars! Venezuela isn't yours! Hands off! Venezuela! Hands off! Venezuela! Hands off! Venezuela! Hands off! Venezuela! Keir Starmer, where's your spine? Occupation is a crime! Keir Starmer, where's your spine? Occupation is a crime! Keir Starmer, where's your spine? Occupation is a crime! Keir Starmer, where's your spine? Occupation is a crime! Donald Trump, you're a liar! No war, no empire! Donald Trump, you're a liar! No war, no empire! Donald Trump, you're a liar! No war, no empire! Donald Trump, you're a liar! No war, no empire! Stop bombing Venezuela! 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 Please welcome Fiona Sim from the Black Liberation Alliance.
London, let us remember that whilst we are here in the biting cold, our hearts are ablaze and we are burning with anger because we are a people of conscience. We know it is our duty to come out onto these streets, just like we have done for Palestine, just like we have done for all acts of injustice. The Black Liberation Alliance are proud to have been in Caracas, Venezuela, just a few short weeks ago. And so we are horrified by the events of the weekend, horrified that the friends and comrades we have met out there have been attacked by Donald Trump. We are even more horrified that the mainstream media are calling these attacks targeted strikes and platforming far-right opposition members to celebrate the freeing of Venezuela. But London, we know these are lies. We know these are lies because we have witnessed the truth firsthand and in the flesh. We have spoken to the dozens of young Venezuelans who are proud and passionate about their country. We have spoken to the fishermen under attack by the airstrikes in the Caribbean Sea. And we have spoken to the survivors of torture in the prisons of El Salvador, where Trump has sent innocent Venezuelans. The working class Venezuelans, the LGBT Venezuelans, the Afro-Indigenous Venezuelans, they stand with their country. They stand with Maduro, and they stand against all American aggression. From the barrios and the comunas to the streets and the conference halls, all the Venezuelans we met are proud to call Maduro their president. And we must remember the imperialist playbooks used to destroy Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya, and Gaza. Remember the lies peddled by our own government and mainstream media like the BBC. And so London, we know the truth will prevail because we know that the people united will never be defeated. And now for our friends in Venezuela, let's say in Spanish to repeat after me. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. 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 Thank you, London.
Alright guys, we're going to move on for a little bit because we heard, I'm here with Jack Hadfield, go and give him a follow if you don't already guys, but yeah, so while we were listening to the speeches, we heard some other chanting, we heard some other chanting, so we're going to see what's going on over here because there's a few other stands and stuff, so it's a bit of a spread out protest. I just accidentally walked through an interview. Oh goodness me. I'm just trying. So what's going on over here? Oh, it's like a. It's not a separate thing because it's obviously it's still about Venezuela. It is bloody freezing. Yeah, so there's a lot of people over here that aren't even paying attention to the speakers that's going on. Oh goodness me, well I'll just take a couple seconds to say hi to everyone. So hello everyone and Happy New Year's, first live stream in 20... Getting a few funny looks. So, but yeah. Yeah, I thought you were gonna like say something. You know when you can like spot someone looking and like it kind of looks like they're about to initiate a conversation. So I didn't want to be rude.
No, I don't support this.
You don't?
No.
What do you think about it?
Well, I'm from Mexico,
Do you mind? Would you like to do an interview?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, brilliant.
El único venezolano aquí.
So,
El único, porque aquí no hay ningún venezolano.
¿Tú eres venezolano?
Claro.
¿Odias a Maduro?
¿Ah?
¿Odias a Maduro?
Obvio.
Obviamente, yo también.
Obvio.
Yo soy
Tengo cerebro.
Mira, yo soy mexicano.
Aquí hay un mexicano, mira, aquí hay un mexicano que ama a Maduro. Por eso ves con la bandera mexicana.
¿Y en dónde vive? Vive aquí en Reino Unido.
Claro, muerto de hambre.
Es la diferencia. Yo vivo en México, he sufrido las consecuencias del crimen organizado, de los gobiernos corruptos, de los gobiernos que apoyan organizaciones terroristas. Y definitivamente ustedes desde su privilegio en Europa creo que están completamente equivocados. No tienen una idea de lo que están hablando, no saben lo que es vivir en un país en donde hay 300,000 muertos en un sexenio. Okay, yeah, I can speak English. I don't support Maduro. I don't support the governments that are corrupt. I don't support the governments that participate in terrorist organizations like the Cartel de Sinaloa, like the Cartel de Jalisco. They are one of the most dangerous organizations in the whole world. They have killed thousands and thousands of people, including millions of people in Mexico, almost 1 million in the last 25 years. So you can talk about what's happening in Latin America or Mexico or Venezuela if you don't live there. You live in your privilege in the UK, in Europe, in Mexico. I live in Mexico. I know what's happening.
Now you are here.
Yeah, because I'm capitalist. I love capitalism. I like money, and that's why I'm visiting around the world, because I can. I love capitalism.
But you live in a capitalist country.
Yes.
You
have the capital of capitalism.
Oh no, that doesn't mean we are supporting capitalism.
But you live here.
Yeah, you can live anywhere in this world.
yes. Would you choose to move to a socialist country?
No, we are going to build up socialism here.
But why? If this is
Why we are against capitalism?
if the majority of people in this country are supportive of capitalism, hang on, can I have a question? Can I ask a question?
I'm asking a question as well. If you can support capitalism as an economic method, why we can't support socialism? It's our right. It's your right.
Because I don't like capitalism, but I don't like socialism or communism. Okay, you should go to lead to a socialist country if you don't like capitalism.
This is not a question about we like Maduro or not. We are against what Trump did to a democratic country. Trump does not have right to do that.
Just
if you are against them, okay, vote against him and send him away. It's Venezuelan people.
Okay, so if you want socialism, but the majority, let me ask my question. Okay, right. So if you want to live in a country that is socialist, but
are you from Canada?
Yeah, I'm independent.
Okay, if you need to, this is different discussion. If you need why we are supporting socialism, give us appointment. We will come to discussion. Okay?
I have to make an appointment to ask you why you support socialism.
That's different discussion, long discussion. I can't answer now. It's a long discussion.
You should be able to answer. If you're supporting socialists, you should be able to answer. It's a very simple question.
If you want to
okay,
know
all
why
right.
I'm supporting socialism, arrange separate discussion.
No, I'm asking why you think that you have the right to submit that over a majority that want capitalism. Like why would you try and go against the majority of people that actually want capitalism instead of just going and living with more people that want socialism? You'd probably be happier if you really want socialism. And we just had like a masked individual come over and I'm assuming tell them not to talk to me. But this man, I don't know if the people accompanying him, I'm assuming they are, but this man says he's from Mexico and he's very much in favour of what Trump has done. So... Hello, sir. People don't like answering questions.
Alright.
Alright, Bob, what do you think about all this?
Personally, slow time Macarena memes have been pretty good. I think American imperialism is based. I think that Venezuela has largely led afloat. The oil industry has been abandoned thanks to corrupt socialist policies. Despite the fact that it breaches international law, but it's just a convention. If no countries enforce it, it doesn't mean anything. So, there's a precedent within American history where America has actually gone and arrested leaders, illegitimate leaders, if you look at the Panama Canal, for example, and tried them in the US. So legally speaking, domestically, the US aren't breaching any laws. Internationally, no one cares. However, what I would say is that we shouldn't bootlick the United States. I would say we should have a closer relationship to our European allies. However, you know, as long as they're not doing it in the Middle East, which destabilizes it, some more migrants come here, and as long as it's corrupt regimes which have committed indictable offences, I don't really care. And none of these people do either. How many Venezuelan flags have you seen here? Everyone else is shoehorning their own country's issues into this discussion. So,
Brilliant. Right. Thank you, Bob. So definitely some charged opinions this evening.
Tinder's got to catch this. He looks like a skinny version of Benjamin Netanyahu.
Can you guys hear me? Oh, you probably couldn't hear me because the mic was off. But you can see me, right? Just put in the chat if you can. Yes. All right, cool. Now, yeah, big up Bob. Yeah, respect what Bob said. He makes a good point because obviously, regime change for United States is the oldest playbook. Can you guys hear me? I just seen somebody said you're muted. Can you guys hear me? I need to bang my head on the wall. Please don't do that. What the fuck? All right, cool. You guys can hear me. Regime change has been the biggest business for United States. It started very long. Regime change. We can even say they did regime change with us when we imposed 10% tax on them, 1777, and 1777 when they launched the revolution, the 13th colony, and they got their freedom from us and they kicked us away because of 10% tax. That could have been a regime change. They changed us. All right. But regime change for United States is normal. It's been the oldest game ever. But when you look at all the regime change that have occurred along the past 30 years, they brought nothing but disaster to everybody else. The reason why my parents had to run here is because of regime change. All these things, regime change. The reason why a lot of Afghanis had to run here is because of regime change. It never works. It will never work. There's no way you can just go into somebody's country. Yes, I know Maduro is not the nicest guy. I'm not saying, all right, this and this. But when you look at Iraq, by the way, the weapons of mass destruction, whatever that pitch was, we've got Tony Blair here who was pitching it, and we got the Bush administration who was pitching it, and they went in to basically capture Saddam Hussein and remove the weapons. That was the mission, right? To go in, capture him, and take the weapons. Nobody thought that was going to be a long years war. Nobody thought that. Nobody thought it was going to be a long thing that was going to go around and go around. But, yeah, somebody just said your channel has been shadow banned. Yes, that's right. It has. But we still carrying on strong. We're going strong. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe. But the Iraq, when the United Kingdom, we sent our men over there. And I personally know somebody who doesn't have an arm because he went over there. I personally have spoken to a lot of people who went to Iraq to liberate the Iraqis, right? To go fix it, to go topple Saddam Hussein. And they happened to stay there for 8 years plus. And it cost us, I think, 22 billion pounds. Bro, that's a lot of money, folks. That's how much it cost us. I think it's way more than that, but I'm thinking 22 billion pounds it cost us. And it cost us 200 women, men and women who went there. Over 600 our forces were injured. I mean, for what? Because some guy had a gun and some guy was perceived to have weapons of mass destruction. Do you see what North Korea has? Bro, if North Korea wanted to end the war, they would, right? But this is the thing. We went there to fix it, and we stayed there, and it cost us a lot of money, and it cost us a lot of lives. Our young men, our young women, our countrymen who went there to serve for the country lost their lives. And when we tried to find out, even till now, we still don't know why we went there. It was weapons of mass destruction. It was never found. The reason we knew there was nothing there. The UN Security Council, they issued an Article 10 before going there, and they went to inspect the place twice. They went to inspect the place twice, and they still did not find anything to do with weapons of mass destruction. But guess what? The pitch was great. The pitch created a lot of fear. The pitch created a lot of urgency to it. The pitch created a good momentum, and boom. We had the Bush administration going there, announcing to the world that the Iraqi, it's a famous clip. I think you guys have seen it in 2003. And boom, men and women would travel there. And guess what? It was a disaster. We were there for years. It cost us hundreds and thousands of pounds, millions of thousands of pounds. And to the US, it cost them $2 trillion. It cost them. It cost them $2 trillion and 4.5 thousand of countrymen, their servicemen, they just died. 1.5k people just died. Well, soldiers died. For what? Look at Iraq today. Do you think the Iraqis are like, thank you, United States? No, it's fucking dog shit right now. It's worse than it's ever been. Okay, Saddam Hussein is not there. Okay, there were weapons of mass destruction that was never there are not there. All right, cool. Okay, you might make that case. All right, that's the case. Now let's talk about Libya. Okay, Muhammad Gaddafi, right? We went there to topple him because he wasn't a friendly dictator, right? So we went to Libya. We had we had Obama in charge. And he wanted to go out there and do the Libya stuff. And obviously regime change is normal for the United States. We went to Libya and we fucked it up. You know how bad it is for the Libyans right now? We went there for oil, right? Obviously, we went there to liberate the leader because he was killing people, all this. That was the pitch. Just like the weapons of mass destruction was the pitch. We went there to liberate those guys. And guess what? Libya is dog shit right now. Before we invaded Libya, before the invasion of United States to Libya to kill Muhammad Gaddafi, those guys were living like kings. They had free school. They had free, healthcare. They had every single time when you get married, your kid will be given, your new bride will be given money and things. It was so free. It was like they had NHS Plus. They had all lovely stuff, and they were trying to put their currency based on gold, not fiat money, not fake money, like fake money like this. You see, let's see. Not like fake money. Okay, I bear this £10 to the king. That's what it says, all right? Where does it say that? I promise to pay the bearer on demand of sum of £10. All right, cool. It's just a fake. I promise to pay. That's what it says. I promise to pay the bearer on demand the sum of £10. I don't have it. I just promise to pay it. So it's a fake money, all right? But in the Libyan guys, the Muammar Gaddafi guy, he wanted to have more of like his currency backed by gold. And obviously, if you have that, the United States, the whole world, the dollar won't have any, because we're gonna need gold for that, and we won't be able to print. We won't be able to print trillions and trillions of dollars whenever we want. So that was a problem. It's a problem. So we went there for oil, and guess what? We toppled him. Okay, cool. We toppled him. All right. CIA did this magic, as they always do. Then boom. How long do you think it took before we got oil out of that place? Or maybe how long do you think it took before we got oil out of Syria or out of Iraq? How long do you think? Do you think it just takes a couple months? Oh, we toppled him. All right, now let's take the oil. Let's go sell. Why do you think the oil company are not even reacting to the Venezuelan dictator being toppled? Because they know it's gonna take decades before that oil makes any profit. Because they've seen the trend. Do you think the Silicon Valley guys, do you think like JP Morgan's, do you think BlackRock is sitting there thinking, all right, I'm just going to take my time before I invest into Venezuelan oil, petroleum, whatever you want to call it. No, they're not taking the time. They are looking at it thinking, yeah, nothing's going to come out until the next few years to come. Because that's what the past has shown. Iraq, nothing came out there for years. Even today, I wouldn't even tell you what came out there. Syria, what do you think came out there? A lot of refugees. Germany had to take half 500,000 refugees. The UK had to take a lot of refugees. All these countries, all the Western countries had to take hundreds of refugees. And then we lost countrymen who went to serve there. Do you think that's the best trade? Do you think that was the best trade for taking Saddam Hussein out? I don't know, folks. What do you think? Okay, Libya. Let's get back to Libya. Now, Libya was obviously, Mohammed Gaddafi toppled, is dead. You know, they parade him around the street. Very horrible the way they did it. Anyways, I guess, all right, it's normal. It's normal. And then nothing happened. Obviously, their country is they literally have slavery going on there. That's how poor they are. You can literally buy humans in Libya now. If you go there with like £200 and you want to buy somebody, you can probably buy someone. That's how cheap it is. That's how dirt poor it is. But was it like that in 2009? Was it like that in 2008, 5? No, it was a good developing country. No, well, it was good, promising. You know, it was developing. But obviously, we toppled it. Done. Now, somebody could also make the same case with Nicolas Maduro being captured and Venezuela being left out. Because here's what happened, right? Here's what happened. Let me lay it down, yeah? Let me lay it down. Because I hate being a fan of politicians. I hate that. It just disgusts me every time when I see people being a fan of a politician. This is the reason why we're in this trouble. Because we're just fans. We're celebrating. We're not looking and analyzing the decision these guys are making. Because who do you think is going to make money from Venezuela? You think the normal American guy will make money? Well, look at history. How many other regime change that they've done made money for a normal American guy? None. Because the people who make money are the people at the top. The people like Rexon, the people like, all these big guys who are heavily invested into oil. They're the ones who are making money. The person who goes out there and invests £2 billion into it, that's the guy who's going to make money. And obviously, now, before I shift it to the protest here. Now, Venezuelan issue is very different because obviously we didn't go there. We didn't have to go out there and, send out guys there and fight and go back and forth. It was an easy, I think, 2 hours. It took 2 hours. I think it took how long did it take? Like 90 minutes? Yeah, maybe 2 hours. Let's give it 2 hours. That was a smooth capture. It was like, done. Now, the reason why the market is not responding to the oil, the reason why oil has not gone up, the reason why it's not gone down, the reason why it looks on the market, it looks like nobody really cares. Because you have to follow the market to see like what's going on, what to come. If you see the price going up, like, oh, this is the new thing. Look at silver right now. Silver is all-time high. You know what's going on. Silver, we got all this technology. What do you think all this? Silver, right? We're using a lot of silver. And silver was like basically gold for a poor man. A poor man's gold. That's what silver was. But silver today is like, maybe something is to come. You look at the trend. Now, why is the oil prices remaining the same? Especially after the coup, especially after the toppling of a dictator. Why is that? Because they know nothing will change for a very long time. All right. But here's the good thing though for United States, as United States regard. They're rich. They're gonna be rich. They've put their adversary on alert. And also they've set a dangerous precedent, which we're going to get to. especially the capture of Maduro. That is a dangerous precedent because you don't know what will come there next. What if Putin wants to take Starmer? I mean, it's going to be normal, right? That, you know what that does? It legitimates, it makes Putin's decision to invade Ukraine a little bit normal, a little bit subtle. It becomes like, okay, he invaded Ukraine. Oh, that guy just took another guy's leader. Oh, so obviously we're fine. You can't really. What do you think? You think we're gonna tell Putin to follow international law when nobody does it? When nobody follows it, nobody's gonna care. So that sets a dangerous precedent, which we're gonna talk to. We're gonna talk to it. We're gonna talk about it for a bit. But let's stay on Venezuela and the good part on what might come. I think that if the Americans tread very careful with it, they could have a beautiful opportunity there. But that's if they're able to tread very carefully. That's if they're not. That's if they don't get hubris with the idea of having this $17 trillion oil reserve under your feet. You know. So, I definitely need a massage. But the good thing is we got the oil. Well, America got the oil. It was never about the drugs, because if it was about the drug, Mexico would have gone first. Mexico obviously is the biggest importer of all these dangerous drugs to the United States. Mexico share a border with those guys, so they're the ones importing drugs. All those Mexicans who went there through Biden and stuff, they're the ones importing more drugs. So it wasn't about drugs. It was about oil, primarily oil and natural resources. Of course, drug was the pitch, just like Saddam Hussein, weapons of mass destruction. That was the pitch to get into Iraq and doing the crazy stuff. But today's time, Trump used the drug boat. And the way he did it was so smart. It took him, I think his team probably they told Trump to chill out. And they told Trump it's going to take 2 years. But Trump was like, no, fuck it, let's do it in 3 months. And then in September, that's when they start hitting boats. They start like, hey, as soon as Trump came into power, guess what he did? He declared Venezuela a narco-terrorist state, a narco state. When you do that, that means that means they're dangerous. That means you can actually fight those guys to protect yourself, to defend yourself. When you declare somebody a terrorist, I mean, now you can actually fight them. Now you can go brutal with them. So it makes, according to the laws, it makes it okay for him for them to attack the boats and to do all the crazy stuff that they were doing. And that was the prep. That was the preparation to what happened January 3rd. So after that preparation, it was bombing them, it was talking brutal to them, going back and forth, and we were thinking, oh man, something's gonna happen here. So he was preparing the public. A lot of media outlet reported about, narco state here, a terrorist state, Nicolas Maduro, a terrorist, all this. So that prepared us for what was to come. So, but we was not sure that it was gonna happen like this soon and that clean. And obviously it happened. And now we're like, we did it. Happy New Year, January 3rd, we did it. We smashed them. We won. And then, we won. But you have to see the power vacuum that you just opened up. It's like a lot of kind of worms you've just opened up. This is how Syria became into power. This is how Syria became into prominent back in the early 2000s. You created a lot of power vacuum. You created this untapped, unconquered market. And there's nobody who has a lot of authority in the area to lead it. And guess what will happen? You will have all these little groups here. You have all these little groups here. And they'll feel like they'll feel emboldened to take arms and claim territory. That's how terrorist organizations start. What do you think? Maybe you're gonna have a military leader who is in Venezuela right now, looking at the land, thinking, "Oh man, all I need to do is rally the troops, and I'm the guy." That's literally what happened in Sudan. What do you think happened in Sudan during the civil war? That's literally what happened in Sudan. You had all these uncooked, fertile land, Nobody there to claim it, and everybody here is trying to fight for it. And then you got the emergence of what's the guy? I forgot his name. Forgot the Sudanese two guys who are fighting. You got this general and this general fighting each other over the land, and now the civil war has been going for 3 years now. So it's like, so this is the problem that it sets. Yeah, you got this power vacuum is opened, is ready. Anyone could grab it, and that is freaking dangerous, folks. That is dangerous. Anyone could grab that, and we don't know who might be. You know, because they had a coup in 1982. I think 1982 they had a coup in Venezuela where Chavez, the previous president before Maduro, he's the guy who did a coup, and then after the coup, he was arrested, he was imprisoned, and then they fought for him, they protest for him, they created a huge protest, and they brought him out. And when he came out in 1999, he became a president, and he was a president until 2013 when he died, and he gave his power to Maduro, and Maduro took over. But by the time he died, the country was fucked, and Maduro basically inherited this broken economy, broken infrastructure, and he didn't do best with it. He just fucked it and just made it even worse, and he just made money for himself, and he did all the crazy stuff. And in 2019, that's when the fight began. That's when Trump was like, okay, cool, I'm gonna fight this guy, I'm gonna have to take it. And that's when they obviously start, that's when they sanctioned Maduro's wife, they sanctioned him as a wanted guy, and they charged him with crime against humanity in 2019. And then that was the build up then. I think obviously Biden didn't do much with them, and Trump came back in and obviously finished the job. So yeah, this is what we are today. This is the problem here. And when I see people chanting, when I see people being a fan of a politician, I'm like, all right, I'm a bit distant. I'd rather be a fan of an activist. I'd rather be a fan of a person. I'll never be a fan of a politician, because that's a dangerous president. That's a dangerous way to go around. Because what you do, everything they do, you're going to chant. Everything they do, you're going to scream, you're going to dance, and you're going to do this, and you're going to do this. But when you look at it, what Trump has done is good for the United States, because what you do is you have changed the geopolitics. So you have changed geopolitics as we know it. You've changed it fully, because now China is thinking, man, we just lost our biggest ally next to United States, apart from Cuba and obviously other countries. We just lost our biggest ally in Latin America. Russia is devastating right now, thinking like, man, we just lost our biggest ally in Latin America, obviously apart from Cuba again. And they're just devastated. And now what US can do is they can obviously have influence of it, obviously restrict their resources and make themselves rich. The Venezuelans will still be poor, just like the Iraqis, just like the Syrians, just like I can go on, just like the Libyans, just like Iraq, just like Afghanistan. All these countries, they're gonna be poor still. And as long somebody who's in charge is very friendly to United States, nobody cares. Literally, we don't care about the Venezuelan. We really don't give a fuck. We never really do give a fuck. We give a fuck about the oil and putting somebody who's gonna be friendly to us. That's what it is. That's what it is. Look at all these African countries where they got broke people, poor. Nobody cares. As long as they're friendly to us and we can go in there and trade with them and take our stuff, we don't give a fuck. So that's a problem, folks. So hey, before we, I think I did a lot of rambling here, but yeah, exactly. Even UK is struggling. UK is freaking struggling. Look at the UK. The slavery went on. Remember the slavery? Remember when the UK was the empire? How was the normal Brits living? People were dying of hunger. People was dying. In 1932, after the First World War, you know how many people died of hunger in Britain? Even though we controlled we control. So we still had all the colonies apart from Australia and I think South Africa and because we gave, apart from Australia, South Africa and Ireland, because those guys we gave them away after the First World War. We gave them away. Ireland got their independence in 1919 or 1921. They got their independence. Australia got their independence then. I think, yeah, Australia or some other countries over there. But we still had everybody. We still had in India, all these countries, we still had them. So we were considered the empire, right? But a lot of Brits were dying hungry. So it never goes to the normal average person. It never goes to a normal average person. It goes to the big guys, the guys in power, the big businesses who are investing enormous amount of money to keep it going. The guy who are buying the ships to make it away, to go there. The guys who are investing in the infrastructure of the rails. Now they can charge every time when a train goes past. The guys who are investing in the train. That's the guy who's making money. The guy who's investing into the big machines that'll be digging oil and doing all the crazy refinery. Those are the guys who make money. But the normal Venezuelans, they'll keep on dancing for sure, yes. And I obviously I am happy for them. Chanting, Trump did that was a clean slate. But they're still gonna be poor. Because history has taught us that no matter what they do, no matter how friendly a guy really is. I mean, look at Iran. That's a good example, right? Remember Mossadegh? When they toppled Mossadegh because Mossadegh wanted to nationalize the oil? And Britain said, no, fuck no, you're not going to nationalize your oil. Fuck no. Why do you want your people to benefit from your oil? No. Then they got Americans. Then they got CIA. We went in and we toppled Mossadegh. And we put in the Shah. And then the Shah came in power, the theocratic leader. A monarch, and they did whatever they were doing. And then another revolution took place. That was the Islamic Republic of Iran. The Revolutionary Guard. With the communists, with the socialists mixed together. But obviously, as soon as Islamists came into power, they killed all those guys who helped them. And they, till today, now Iran is fighting for the country back. But the reason why they're fighting for the country back is not the revolution, not the first revolution, not the first coup, the first ever coup, not the recent coup which happened in obviously 1979, the other one, when the top of Mossadegh, because he wanted to nationalize the oil, because he wanted to make his people rich. So it's never about the history. If you just look at it, it's never about the people. It's always about the rich guys. So somebody says, I see Americans getting upset. What you mean? Who got upset? Venezuelan wasn't poor before this regime. I mean, really? Are you actually saying that? Do you know what? Do you know how much Venezuela? You know what's the GDP per capita in Venezuela right now? It's 3,000. For us, we make that a month. In the UK, that's an average. But for them, 3,000 is yearly per capita in Venezuela right now. In 2010 or before, actually in 2005, the GDP per capita was $12,000. Today is $3,000. Oh, they're not poor. How? Are you trying to are you saying 3,000 is richer than 12,000? Is that what you're trying to say? Is that the case? It makes no sense. So there's no way you can say Venezuela wasn't poor before this. They were poor. They were poor when we walked into January. They were poor. They were poor in 2025, 2024. They were poor. And looking at the history, it looks like they're going to get even poorer. Because when the big guys come in, they take, and that's it. Because when you look at India, before Britain went to India, India was contributing 23% of the GDP, of the global GDP. 23%. United States is not even contributing higher than any amount to that. And United States is the biggest country right now. So imagine how big and prosperous India was before Britain went in. Britain went in. The country was contributing to the world economy 23%. And when we came out in 1945 or 47, you have to see, because it takes times for that to transition to take place. When we came out, well, they were contributing 3%. Yeah, some of you guys might make the argument like, hey, we gave them roads. Oh, we gave them this. We gave them this. We gave them train station. We gave them railway. Yeah, that is good. But that was for us to take the fucking thing and make it easier to extract the wealth. And that's what's gonna happen in Venezuela. They're gonna get schools. Yes, that's good. They're gonna get all these normal little stuff around. And they're gonna get big machines extracting oil to take it back. But the moment another president's come in to nationalize the oil, they're gonna get toppled already. Quick. They're gonna get toppled. Because that's what Venezuelans tried to do. They tried to nationalize the oil. And no, that's why when Trump says that's our oil, it means we spent money to build the refinery there. Now when you're trying to nationalize it, you're saying you want to make more money than us. Because before, United States was taking 80%. I think some of that amount. If you go back before 1982, United States was taking more money from Venezuela when it comes to oil than Venezuelans. So I think Chavez, the guy before Nicolas Maduro, he was like, hey man, I want to nationalize this oil. I want my people to make money. Yeah, I want my people every time when we take the oil out, I want my people to make money. And United States was like, yeah, fuck no. What you mean? Is that what you really trying to do? And I'm not saying this to show in United States that, bro, that's the best country in the world right now. You look at the Constitution, it's fucking beautiful. Anytime if somebody was to say, hey, Barack, do you want to go to the United States? Hey, I would want to go. Yeah, it's one of the best countries in the world. It is the best country in the world. So I'm not shitting on it. But you have to look at the story and not be a fandom to our president like Trump. You're not just trying to be a fan and not criticize. You have to look at it and analyze and be like, all right, this is the information, this is the facts, and this is what I'm going to tell the guys here. So everything here is purely researched, purely facts, and nothing to do with like, obviously with a little opinion of like, hey, when you see red, you're going to say red. What's that? And you're going to, have you seen Made in America? Great movie. You see how corrupt the CIA is. Yeah, the CIA is corrupt, bro. I remember in Congo, when Congo got the first independence in 1962. They got the independence, their leader was elected, and the guy was pro-Congolese, as he should. I would want a leader to be, pro your country. You shouldn't be a puppet for another foreign state. Of course not. If Keir Starmer was pro-Ukraine more than Britain, I would want it to be toppled. Done. I'd want regime change. But when Congo got the first leader, within months, the guy was killed by CIA because he was pro-Congo. Literally, after the gain independence, they start singing. They're dancing, they're happy, they're tuning around, they're going up and up and up. As soon as they got independence, the guy was like, all right, cool. We're gonna put Congolese first. Just like obviously today we got America first, Britain first, and all these good stuff. The guy was like, hey, we're gonna put Congolese first. We're gonna want all these things. We're gonna change the language because French is not from here. What the fuck? What do you mean we need to speak French? That's not from here. All these nationalist idea to kick all the foreign stuff out, to purely make sure if the country makes money, it stays there. If we're gonna take it out, it's due to trade and all these things. But CIA literally killed him, and the crazy thing is they destroyed him, bro. That you could they The only thing you could find was his teeth. They chopped him up. Yeah, I know. I don't want to be very detailed here because obviously, as you already know, toppling details. Just look at recently, said with Mohammed Gaddafi. Just look at recently. That was, in 2011. That was insane, right? So you've seen what these guys can do. What CIA, how corrupt CIA really is. But they get stuff done, though. You have to give it. They get stuff done. I think our MI5 do get stuff done. MI6, they do get stuff done, but they are like, I think we're like amateurs compared to the United States. There's no way. We're like amateurs, bro. Comparing to CIA, of course. Obviously, we're still good. We can get stuff done ourselves, but I think comparing to CIA, yeah, we're like amateurs. Like, we're just trying to figure it out. We are very egalitarian. Like, hey, bring them here, bring them here. Oh no, oh these poor. All right, get in the flights. Bro. Look at what happened in was it Afghanistan? Yeah, I think it was Afghanistan in 2021 when Biden withdrew from Afghanistan. Did you see how brutal that was? When the plane is going, the plane literally on a runway, and people are chasing. They try to grab on the tires so they can go with it as well. That's how brutal they are. They're like, yo, fuck these guys, we're getting out. And then obviously they helped some refugees who helped them out, and so did we. We brought them through a what you call it, a secret scheme that was recently exposed when we had 52,000 Afghanis flown here without anybody knowing. The government literally told the media not to report it for several years, and yeah, for several years we didn't know until this year we got to figure out that, oh man, all these Afghanis that just recently appeared, oh, they were flown here by our military, our forces, our military forces. So yeah, but but I am a big fan of America, though. I am a huge fan. But sometimes you can't, if you are a fan of something, you have to be able to criticize it. That's called tough love. That's real love if you're able to criticize the things that you deeply care about. I care about United Kingdom all the time. That's why I always criticize our leader, because I'm like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what do you mean? What do you mean you want to give Chagos Island back? For what? What do you mean we have to do reparation? For what? Look how broke we are. Our economy hasn't grown for 3 years. Growth is fucking slow. Like, soon we're gonna be going down. We're gonna be reporting minus 0.3 or something, or minus this. So the growth is very small. So when I see we're making all this egalitarian type of mindset, we're not in position to do that. Not anymore. So I have huge respect for Trump. I really do. But sometimes he makes decisions that you have to look and use your brain and be like, all right, bro, that's fucked. Like the Epstein file. Bro, you said you're going to go in and drain the swamp. What the fuck do you mean? He was talking about Jeffrey Epstein. Literally attacking his voters. Saying, hey, don't criticize this. And what do you mean, bro? You said you're going to go and arrest Fauci for the corruption during the lockdown. During COVID, you said you were going to do that. You said you're going to clean the swamp, but somehow you are part of it now. You said no new wars. You said no more regime change. You said all this, and we have to hold you to account. You work for us, not the other way around. So when I see people fantasizing and celebrating and idealize a president or prime minister, for me it's just a turn off, because I see those guys not using the brain. They just purely, especially if they're content creator, I just see them as like, yeah, they're just trying to make money off him. Because when Trump is an old man, you have to know it. The guy is 79. He's gonna retire soon. Obviously he's not gonna run soon. He's gonna retire soon, and we have to say the word, in the next 20 years he's not gonna be here. Unless, he's going to pull the Trump card and stay here for very long. So you see, so we have to make decision based on like, all right, cool. All right, Trump, okay, if you do this and you do this, what if after you, what if the next person does exactly what you just done? like Nicolas Maduro, the capture. I like the idea of capturing him, but then I'm thinking, okay, you just capture this guy. What if North Korea wants to capture one of our friendly leaders? What if Nicolas Maduro captured Giorgia Meloni? What are we gonna do then? Sorry, not Nicolas Maduro. Sorry. What if Xi Jinping, North Korea, wants to capture Giorgia Meloni? What are we gonna do? That we're gonna go to war? That's a nuclear war right there. Cause you know those guys. You know how bad North Korea has been trying to use those things. They want South Korea so bad. They want anything. They would want to destroy it so they can just have it back. What if China wants Taiwan? Like saying, hey, fuck it, bro. I've been standing. What if China says, all right, fuck doing all these remapping every year? Because obviously they always bring new map every year. I don't know if you know, but they always bring new map every year. And every year they always expand their map to claim territory with India and with they're talking Tibetans. They've taken that long time, so that's not an issue for them anymore. Oh, shit. Although obviously those the Tibetans and the religious leader is obviously trying to fight back within fighting back from India, but what if China says, hey, we're gonna do what United States have done? We're gonna take Taiwan. Enough all these military show off. Enough all these drills next to them. Enough doing all these fighting against shipmen in the South China Sea. What if we're just gonna take them? What will happen then? Are we gonna go to war with China? Exactly right. What if Putin comes out and be like, man, Zelensky has killed a lot of my guys. I need to charge him for all these I need to charge him for conspiracy of weapons, for carrying weapons. I need to charge him for, malicious intent of wounding. I need to charge him for killing 500,000 people, 500,000 of my soldiers. I need to charge him for that. And what if Zelensky is flying to come beg for money here and his plane somehow just disappears out the radar and boom, he lands in Moscow and he's charged and he's arrested? What are we going to do then? We're going to go to war? I know NATO is begging for war so bad, so maybe we will. But that do you see the problem here? So if you cannot apply if you cannot apply it everywhere else, then it's just propaganda, right? What you give? Somebody says don't give. The guy said don't give them any ideas. What do you mean? They have their ideas already. So this is a problem, folks. This is a problem. So I don't know. I really don't know how it's gonna go. The next 2 years from now, I think 2025 is gonna be the most important year of our lifetime. It's gonna be dramatic and it's gonna be very bro. I was speaking to my team today. I said this year, after Nicolas Maduro, this year is gonna be a year full of confrontation. Every country is going to try to confront each other. And I mean that not with words like, oh, this. No. They're going to go at it. I think China is going to try to take Taiwan. That's what I think. I honestly think that. And I think after that move that United States has pulled, it's just going to embolden more of Chinese, hard show off in the South China Sea. That was dangerous. Although I support it, but I think that was dangerous. As a media person, there's going to be way more story to cover this shit. Because there's going to be a lot of confrontation that's going to take place. Look at Iran. The people are confronting their leaders. Well, the dictator, the regime, the Islamic regime. Look at Iran. They're confronting them. So this is going to be a year full of confrontation, folks. Brace yourself for an impact. It's going to be a heavy one. I'm extremely optimistic that we're gonna win. The West is gonna win. Well, the good over evil will win. But hey, that was a bad show. I mean, Nick. What's his name? Happy New Year, Rose. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. I'm seeing your message. Happy New Year, True Finder. You are the best moderator here. Somebody says I hate people that correct grammar. Me too, bro. I really do hate those people. Especially when they get what I mean. Especially when they can read what I'm trying to say, but they're still trying to correct me. Like, bro, why don't you just reply to what you have understood that I was gonna say? Stop trying to reply with some other message like, hey, you spelled this wrong. So what? Are you my English teacher now? What are you doing? You're gonna give me detention? What else? You want me to do my homework? So I really do hate it as well. But this is the thing. What's going on? Let me show you the clips that's coming from Venezuela right now in the capital of Caracas. Yeah, somebody says it's going to be a big year geopolitics. Yeah, that's it. It's going to be a huge year this year, and I am a little bit optimistic that we're gonna win. I hope so. Okay, guys, what do you guys want to do? Should I end the stream? I don't want to endless talk. I need to order food, man. I'm telling you. This is a crazy life for a young man. You know, when you live alone. I mean, I like living alone, but I like having my little brother over sometimes because I can send him around and be like, hey, yo, go Asda. Hey, go Tesco. It's fun. But no, it's good. But living alone, you forget to eat. You always forget to eat. I really do always forget to eat. It's like one thing that you have to do every day, and I always forget to eat. Somebody just said reform would dismantle the NHS. I don't know about that. I'm not sure. But if reform dismantle the NHS, if we was to entertain that conversation with reform dismantling NHS, meaning to, I'm assuming you're talking about privatizing it and letting Palantir Technology and all these big BlackRock, all these, pharmaceutical companies, obviously the ones I just named are not pharmaceutical, all these big pharmaceutical like pharma, all these big farmers guys to come through, like Pfizer and AstraZeneca and all these big guys in the, AstraZeneca is from the UK, but the first one is not from, it's from America. If they were to privatize it so they can charge people, I think as we have we have a whole old population here in the UK, so I think that will be very dangerous if they was to dismantle NHS. It'd be scary because I think that's the only thing that we have truly to defend. What else are you going to defend? That's the only thing that we have truly to defend in the UK. I think that's something that I think we should treasure. Look at the Americans. I mean, as much as we love them, but healthcare bills is insane over there. My grandma lives in America. All my family members live in America apart from my mom and my auntie, which obviously we're in the UK. Everybody else lives in America. And every time when they tell me, when I talk to them, my uncle's like, yo, bro, I had an accident. And you want to know how much it was? I'm like, bro. So dismantling NHS will destroy, especially the old population that we have. I think hundreds of people would die. So somebody says, True Finder says, Barack, may you respond to Rose's comment above this. Okay, what's this? Search Daniel John Morgan. Who's that? Became relevant due to the Mets police wanting to expose. Okay, Freemason. Oh yeah, I've seen this going around. The Freemason thing. I've seen this going around. Yeah, I also seen the Met Police publishing a video on an article. Let's actually see this. So Met Police Freemason. Okay, the Met Police is now requiring officers to declare Freemason membership. What the fuck? All right, maybe. All right, let's read the whole thing so we can understand. Following recommendation from Daniel Morgan reposts which highlights the sources of mistrust, though no corruption proven in this case. This policy aims at transparency and prevent conflicts of interest. Okay. Right. Okay. This was 8 days ago, just when we entered New Year. Hold on. Well, let me do more. Let me read this full article, please. Hold on, before I give you any sort of opinion on this, because I had a can't really tell you who I've been taught. I can't really tell you. I talk to not crazy people. I talk to a lot of people, particularly about this thing. So let me try and understand this with the Met Police. Right. Okay, that is really good. So wait, let me finish. Let me finish. All right, cool. I welcome this idea. I welcome this idea of police officers wanting to know every wanting to make sure every police officer declare if they're Freemason. I like that, because we do not want this sort of group growing and growing and growing in our country. We do not want this sort of like oh God, we're live right now, so I have to tread very careful with my words. As you know, this institution is huge. Yeah, this institution is huge. So we do not want this sort of organization to have control of the Met Police and have them dictating what the police do and what the Met Police do. So I welcome the decision of them making sure that they declare if they are a part of this group. And of course, obviously they're gonna fight the it says Freemason is taking them to court, injunction, whatever. And they're trying to fight. They're trying to say, oh, this is this is the police officer asking the Met Police, the Metropolitan Police asking the officers to declare if they are a part of this group is discriminatory because it violates their privacies. What do you mean? You're gonna have to give up your little privacy, mate. You tell us, are you a part of this group, yes or no? And what's your hierarchy? How tall are you? How powerful are you in this little group of yours? Obviously, it's not little; it's a huge group. I have to tread very careful the way I address these guys. Yeah. So I welcome this decision, folks. I welcome. So you said also to reveal the truth behind Daniel Morgan's suspicion death. Yeah. That is good. I think I welcome this decision from the Met Police. I welcome it. I'm gonna do more dig into it. But I welcome it. I don't agree with some of your idea, Barack, but I think you mean well. You are right. I have to go. Take care, everybody. Yes, Thomas, thank you so much. Yeah, I do know what I mean. I'm glad you mentioned that you don't agree with some of my ideas. I mean that makes you a human being, and it'll be kind of insane for you to agree with all my ideas because I got some crazy ideas. I'll be terrified if you said you agreed with all of my ideas. I'll be stunned. I don't even agree with some of my ideas. So we are, but yeah, of course, and that's fine. That's you being human. But thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you so much for watching the show. I truly appreciate you guys. It's it's just tuning in, watching, liking, commenting. That's what makes the channel strong. So I appreciate you. We might have different views, different opinion on different issues, but as long as we're able to come together and put the flag in front and defend the land, that's all matters. But thank you so much for tuning in, Thomas. Yeah. So Rose says, if you are serving the public, you should disclose it. Yes. If you are in the Met Police, and there's a group that the Met Police is concerned about, and they want to know if you are a part of it, and you are fighting privacy, then all right, cool, go apply for another job. This is what they need you to do. This is mandatory now. It's just like the digital ID now. Nobody voted for it, but it's mandatory. All right. So you have to give up a little bit of your privacy, sir. I'm sorry. You have to. You have to give up a little privacy. I'm trying to do Trump impersonate, but I can't. He's really good at what he does, I guess. Should also disclose if Muslim Brotherhood or any other influential group. Yes, correct. Freaking correct. Everybody, you should disclose it. Are you a part of the Muslim Brotherhood? Disclose it. We should have that. That should be mandatory. We never voted for digital ID, but we got it. We're getting it. We never voted for Child Safety Act, whatever you want to call it. But we still got it. We never voted for a lot of these things, but we still got it. So I'm assuming we can also just include this in the police. Show who you are. We want to make sure we don't have Muslim Brotherhoods being sent to our old lady's house who needs help, and somehow she's there with a terrorist, or she's there with somebody who identified to some sort of group that we should declare as a terrorist group. But yeah, so everybody should disclose it. That is true. Thank God you brought that up. The Muslim Brotherhood, I don't know why we've not banned it. All these big UAE countries, they've banned all these Saudi, Middle Eastern countries. They know who these guys are. They know how deadly and how dangerous they are, and they also know how influential they are. That's why they banned those guys from operating. Even Kenya has banned them. Imagine Kenya. Who talks about Kenya? I mean, they are really doing good though in Africa, but even Kenya banned them. And the fact that UK is so egalitarian, and we just say, hey, everybody's welcome, everybody can go, everybody can come. That's why we're in this mess together. That's why we're in this mess. And the fact that anybody can freely entertain our political system, that's a problem. I don't think everybody should be able to just go and be like, I'm going to get into parliament. No, we should do a heavy check before putting somebody in the parliament. Because that could be a national security. That's a national security threat. Imagine you have a couple brotherhoods. What you call it? You got a couple Muslim Brotherhood in the parliament. I mean, that's scary, folks. What? So yeah, we should always make sure we know who we are playing with in the UK, and definitely all these groups should assign and show who they are, and all these people who are trying to serve in our public sector, they should obviously show who they are before they do. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Venezuela right now has erupted. Hundreds of protesters have taken the street. They are chanting, they are singing, they are dancing, music is blasting, flags are waving. Man, it's just fun. It's just fun. But the next few months to come will dictate how this will be. Either this is gonna be the new Iraq, either this is gonna be a new Libya, or maybe it might be a new Syria, or maybe it might be a new Panama. I don't know, folks. And Panama is not obviously in the best situation, of course. After, but yeah, obviously you can go through the, all the reason why I listed all those countries, because United States has toppled their leaders, or maybe I should say regime change. But there's like 70 plus countries, 100 plus countries. I think 70 plus countries. But I'm sure if I do a little bit more digging out there, it's probably more. But yeah, Venezuela right now, they're happy, they're smiling, they're dancing. Now the next few years will show us how this will play out. Bye, Barack. Thanks. Happy New Year. Thank you. Happy New Year, guys. Happy New Year, folks. Thank you so much for this super chat. Just came in super late. From Kirano. I think I'm saying your name right. If I'm not, please correct me. Thank you so much for that super chat. But Happy New Year, folks. As I said, you heard it here, folks. You heard it here first. This year is going to be a year full of confrontation, full of confronting. People are going to go back and forth confronting each other. Countries going to fight. Ukrainian, all these guys, they're going to fight Russia. They're going to confront each other. Maybe China might invade Taiwan. Finally, they've been prepping up since 1954, whenever the Mao Zedong came into power. They've been prepping up, and they've been showing muscle every single day. So maybe this year might be the year. Pakistan might want to take. No, I don't know. Pakistan with Kashmir. I don't know. That's a volatile issue, bro. Maybe another fight might occur, with India and Pakistan, because they always do fight, and each time they fight, India always win. But maybe North Korea. They've been showing their muscle as well. They might confront South Korea. We'll see. It's going to be a year full of confrontation, folks. So brace yourself for an impact. It's going to be entertaining, of course, as I'm here always to report to you. Sometimes these news that come out, they're very deadly. They're very concerning. So I always want to try to put a little bit of satire in it. So you and I can be entertained while we consume the news. And but thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, again, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Without further ado, hand to the head salute. Bye-bye. Thank you so much. They tried to erase the signal. They pulled the plug, demonetized, censored, shadow banned. That's what they did to us. But the truth, my friend, will always find the frequency. I call this Operation Airwave Liberation, because I'm not just back, I'm broadcasting from ruined. But this time, the airwaves is mine. And this time, it's uncensored. I watched them strip everything that we built. No warning, no explanation, silence, just taking everything away. 300 plus videos, deleted, all gone. And if you think this is about community guidelines, you've not been paying attention. This is a war. This is a digital gulag dressed in a terms of service type of way. They want us gone because we're saying things that they don't like. Maybe we're asking questions because we're curious. They don't like the questions we're asking. Or maybe we refuse to play nice in this echo chamber that we're in. They first hit me with the algorithm. The video is not getting enough views. Then they hit me with the monetization. Well, no money for you. But guess what? They forgot to hit my will. They thought that'll be enough. It's gonna cave and it's gonna run away. But guess what I did? I rebuilt, I rewired. I learned the game behind the curtains and see how they operate. I'm not just back. We're launching Operation Airwave Liberation. No filters, no masters, just signals. The signal they tried to block, but this time is very strong. The wind can't even penetrate through this. This, my friend, isn't just about me. It's about all of us. Every single voice that's been cancelled, clipped, and used in the wrong way by the media. From now on, moving forward, I'm not just creating content anymore. I'm sorry. I'm building a resistance. On camera, off grid, and above the algorithm. And if you are watching this, you are the resistance. This channel isn't just a platform. This is a broadcast tower for the truth. I'm glad I'm back.